Captain Kirk has always had a complex relationship with the concept of altering history. His feelings are shaped by his deep sense of duty to Starfleet and the principles of the Prime Directive, which emphasizes non-interference with the natural development of civilizations. Here's a detailed look at how Kirk feels about altering history, especially in the context of the story. Kirk's feelings about altering history. 1. Sense of duty and responsibility. Prime Directive. Kirk is deeply committed to the Prime Directive, which guides Starfleet officers to avoid interfering with the natural progression of other civilizations. This principle is central to his decision-making process. Moral dilemma. When faced with the need to alter history, Kirk experiences a profound moral dilemma. He understands the potential consequences of his actions and the responsibility he bears to preserve the timeline. 2. Emotional conflict. Personal struggle. Kirk often struggles with the emotional weight of his decisions. He is aware that altering history can have far-reaching and unpredictable consequences, which weighs heavily on him. Empathy and compassion. Kirk's empathy and compassion for individuals affected by historical events add to his internal conflict. He feels a deep sense of responsibility to protect lives while also preserving the greater good. 3. Pragmatic approach. Strategic thinking. Despite his emotional conflict, Kirk is a pragmatic leader. He understands that sometimes difficult decisions must be made to ensure the stability and safety of the future. Balancing act. Kirk strives to balance his personal feelings with his duty to Starfleet and the Federation. He often seeks counsel from his trusted officers, such as Spock and McCoy, to navigate these complex situations. 4. Reflection and growth. Learning from experience. Throughout his missions, Kirk learns from each encounter with historical events. He reflects on his actions and their outcomes, using these experiences to guide future decisions. Commitment to Starfleet ideals. Kirk's commitment to the ideals of Starfleet, peace, exploration, and non-interference, remains steadfast. He continually seeks to uphold these principles, even when faced with challenging circumstances. Scene. Kirk reflects on altering history. Setting. Captain's quarters. After the mission, Kirk is sitting at his desk, deep in thought. Spock enters. Spock, calmly, "Captain, may I join you?" Kirk, nodding, "Of course, Spock. I was just thinking about everything that happened." Spock, sitting down, "It is understandable. The decision to allow the assassination to proceed was not an easy one." Kirk, sighing, "No, it wasn't. But it was necessary. The timeline had to be preserved, no matter how much it pained us." Spock, nodding, "Indeed. The preservation of history is crucial to the stability of our future. Your decision, while difficult, was the correct one." Kirk, thoughtfully, "I know. But it doesn't make it any easier. I keep thinking about the lives we affected, the people we left behind." Spock, gently, "Your empathy is one of your greatest strengths, Captain. It guides your decisions and ensures that you never lose sight of the human element in our missions." Kirk, smiling slightly, "Thank you, Spock. I just hope that, in the end, we did the right thing." Spock, firmly, "We did, Captain. And we will continue to do so, as long as we uphold the principles of Starfleet." Kirk nods, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. He knows that the path ahead will be challenging, but he is determined to face it with the same dedication and resolve. Impact on historical events in the altered timeline. 1. Political landscape. Kennedy's continued presidency. With Kennedy surviving, he continues his presidency, potentially winning re-election in 1964. His policies on civil rights, space exploration, and the Cold War could lead to significant changes. Civil rights movement. Kennedy's survival might accelerate the progress of the civil rights movement. His support for civil rights legislation could lead to earlier and more comprehensive reforms. Cold War dynamics. Kennedy's approach to the Cold War, including his stance on the Soviet Union and Cuba, could lead to different outcomes in key events such as the Cuban Missile Crisis and the Vietnam War. 2. Space exploration. Apollo program. Kennedy's strong support for the space program could result in increased funding and accelerated progress. The timeline for landing a man on the moon might be moved up, potentially occurring earlier than 1969. Space race. The competition with the Soviet Union in space exploration could intensify, leading to more ambitious missions and technological advancements. 3. Social and cultural changes. Cultural shifts. the 1960s were a time of significant social and cultural change. Kennedy's continued influence might shape the counterculture movement, the rise of youth activism, and the evolution of America.